A ship's crew vanishes without a trace, but the captain's breakfast is still warm. November 1872. The merchant brig Mary Celeste drifts through the Atlantic, her sails half furled, her cargo untouched. When the crew of the Dei Gratia spots her, they board to find something impossible. The ship is seaworthy. The captain's table is set. A child's toys rest on the deck. But there's not a soul aboard, not the captain, not his wife, not their 2-year-old daughter, not a single crew member. Nothing, just absence, suspended in salt and fog. Now, let's rewind. The Mary Celeste wasn't always a mystery. She was born in 1861 as the Amazon, a solid, unremarkable merchant vessel built in Nova Scotia. Nothing in her early years suggested she'd become the most famous ghost ship in history. She changed hands, changed names, and by 1872, she was captained by Benjamin Briggs, an experienced sailor with a reputation for discipline and caution, not the type to take reckless risks. On November 7th, the Mary Celeste departed New York Harbor bound for Genoa, Italy, carrying 701 barrels of commercial alcohol, denatured but flammable. The crew consisted of 7 men, plus Briggs's wife Sarah and their daughter Sophia. It was a routine voyage. Briggs had sailed with this crew before. He knew them. Everything was in order. 10 days later, the Dei Gratia, another merchant ship traveling the same route, noticed something odd on the horizon. A brig moving erratically. Captain David Morehouse knew Briggs personally. They'd sailed together before. So when the Mary Celeste didn't respond to signals, Morehouse sent a boat over to investigate. What his men found defied explanation. The ship was intact, no signs of struggle, no blood, the cargo was secure. The sails were partially set as if someone had abandoned her mid-course correction. But here's what gets overlooked. The lifeboat was gone. This detail right here changes everything. Someone left the ship deliberately. They didn't sink, they rowed away. The ship's log told a fragmented story. The last entry was dated November 24th, but it was vague, incomplete. No distress signal, no note explaining the abandonment. The crew's personal effects were still aboard. Sarah Briggs's sewing kit, Sophia's doll, clothing, money. Why abandon a perfectly seaworthy vessel and leave everything behind? This is where the real mystery lies. For over 150 years, people invented explanations. Mutiny, piracy, a sea monster, insurance fraud, a supernatural curse. The legend grew so wild that by the 20th century, most people believed the ship was found completely intact, breakfast still warm, as the saying goes. But that's not quite accurate. What actually happened was far more mundane, and that's what makes it interesting. The leading theory, supported by maritime historians and accident investigators, points to a catastrophic leak. The barrels of alcohol were stored below deck. If one or more ruptured due to rough seas, and the Atlantic in November is rough, fumes could have built up. Briggs, a cautious man, might have feared an explosion. He ordered the crew into the lifeboat, intending to tow behind the ship until the danger passed. But here's the tragedy. The rope connecting the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste broke or came loose in the heavy swell. The lifeboat drifted away, and the Mary Celeste, now unmanned, still seaworthy, still floating, continued east on the Atlantic currents. Briggs, Sarah, Sophia, and the crew were lost at sea. Their bodies were never recovered. The ship lived on, a ghost carrying no one. This theory isn't certain, it never will be. But it's grounded in physics, in maritime experience, and in what we actually know. No evidence of mutiny, no evidence of foul play, just a terrible accident, a broken rope, and a ship that refused to sink. The Mary Celeste was salvaged, repaired, and put back into service. But she carried a reputation now. Crews were superstitious. Insurance rates climbed. Eventually, she was deliberately wrecked on a reef off Haiti in 1885, a financial scam by her then-owner. Even in death, the ship couldn't escape the shadows of her past. What's remarkable about the Mary Celeste isn't that she's unsolved. It's that we invented a solution before we bothered to investigate. The legend, the ghost ship, the phantom crew, the supernatural terror became more interesting than the truth. And sometimes that's how history gets rewritten. Not by lies, but by which stories we choose to tell. The real lesson here is simpler than the mythology. Sometimes the most famous mysteries aren't mysterious at all. They're just poorly understood. Benjamin Briggs made a decision based on the information he had. It cost him everything. And the ship he abandoned sailed on, carrying the weight of a tragedy that no one would ever fully understand. Subscribe, we uncover the forgotten stories that rewrote history, one overlooked detail at a time.